Heather Zykowski, the babe with the power, and coming up today on WAYO LP Rochester is The Sound of Tomorrow, where we're going to be talking about mirrors. We have a little bit of follow-up from years and years and years ago. There's new news. And we might be talking a little bit about AI, if we're lucky. But first...
Hey, Heather, how was your weekend?
Ross, my weekend was fantastic. I've been so excited all day to tell you about it.
Wow, okay, that is wonderful. What's going on?
Well, remember that business venture I told you all about that I was trying to get off the ground? We talked about it at my birthday party last year, and you were so supportive, remember? Wow. You really don't remember.
In my defense, the Heather Collinses you were making that night were very, very, very strong.
It's fine. I'm a woman. I'm used to repeating myself. So since last year, I've been working on a meal kit service. Does that ring a bell? Sheesh. Okay. Well, my thinking was I hear podcast ads about it all the time, about all those meal kit delivery services that everyone apparently loves. But you know how it goes. The meal prep can still be so time consuming and even stressful, even when the kits have all the ingredients you need and you only have to cook them.
I see your point. I do sometimes get tired of thinking about what to have for dinner every night.
Right. And you're even married. You have someone to share that dinner with you.
That's true.
And those other meal kits, they're usually geared toward couples or families, not singles like myself, you know?
I've heard the ads, and that does sound like the case, yeah. I think
So
you're right there.
I was thinking about what kind of meal kit might really suit a single person, a busy single person, on the run, on the go, who has maybe not so much time and possibly not so much ambition to really expend a whole lot of effort fixing a meal.
I could see that. So are you doing more of a heat and eat service thing and less of a meal kit kind of service? Is that the idea?
Heat? Come on, Ross. Heating stuff takes up a long time. Who has patience for that?
I think many or most people do.
Okay, sure. Brag. That's fine. I'm talking tired, busy singles who just need some nutrition, for crying out loud.
Okay, I get it. Sometimes even warming something up is a lot, but I'm not following. If your meal kit service doesn't have ingredients to make dishes and it doesn't have prepared foods, what service are you actually providing?
Here. Okay. One sec. I think it'll help if you just see one of the kits I'll be shipping out tomorrow. I've been boxing them up all day. Okay. Ross, welcome to PBBox.
PBBox, okay. All right. The packaging is cute. That's a nice solid looking box with your smiling face printed on it. That's very nice.
And look inside.
Okay. Okay. So I think I got the wrong one because all I see in your meal service box kit is a jar of peanut butter, and I think is that a spoon?
That's right.
Okay, so the meal kit service you're launching is just sending people a jar of peanut butter and a spoon.
Yes! PBBox is the perfect solution for tired singles who can't be bothered with dinner. Our slogan is PBBox. Just have a spoonful of peanut butter and call it a day.
Okay, but a spoonful of peanut butter, that isn't really dinner, Heather, you know?
Oh, okay. Who made you the dinner police, Ross?
Okay, I'm sorry, but it's just not. That's not dinner.
And that, my friend, is where you're wrong. My extensive market research shows that many, many adults truly have no ambition to feed themselves, really at any point in the day. And we often resort to having a spoonful of peanut butter for dinner and calling it good enough.
Okay, market research.
Mostly asking strangers at bars.
Okay, well, that actually works. But Heather, are people really going to pay you to send them a jar of peanut butter every month when they could just go to the store and get a jar themselves?
First, you want people to heat things up, and now you think they can go to the store? And I'm not talking about common reasons that people actually can't get to the store. Mobility issues, lack of funds, food desert issues, lack of transportation, stuff like that. I'm talking about people just like me with jobs and cars and grocery stores nearby. It's hard to get to the store, Ross.
And these strangers at the bar are telling you this?
Yeah.
Okay, so how does this work?
Just like any other meal kit. People sign up at my website, PBBox.PB, put in their payment and shipping info, and I send them a jar of peanut butter and a spoon every month.
And you said you've been packing orders today. May I ask how many people have signed up for this service so far?
Roz, it's been amazing. The response has been overwhelming. Within 24 hours of launch, I already have 85,000 pre-orders, and they just keep coming in. I think I'm going to need to hire some people to help me with all these PB boxes.
Okay, you're kidding.
I most certainly am not. You can go over to PBBox.PB and read all the testimonials already.
Okay, so okay. Wow, okay. So wow, okay, you're not kidding. So yeah, Janet L. in Scranton says, "Thank God for PB Box. I've been so ashamed that I'm sometimes too spent to even bother with food. PB Box has shown me I'm not alone." That's interesting. That's a
Oh,
good
it
one.
warms your heart, doesn't it?
Yeah, so Lawrence W. in Santa Fe says, "Learning that it's normal to stand in my kitchen with a spoonful of peanut butter for dinner has turned my world around. Thank you, PB Box." And there's a ton more just like this. So is it less about the actual peanut butter?
And way more about removing the stigma.
Okay, now that I understand what you're offering, I totally get it, and I'm proud of you. And I'm wondering how much this subscription costs.
Oh, $39.99 plus tax and shipping.
Oh, per annum, I assume.
Monthly, silly.
Okay, Heather, that is predatory. A jar of peanut butter wholesale is what? It's not even $5. The spoons you send don't look like they're made of gold or even metal. And packaging, the website, add all those stuff. Those are additional costs, but you're still marking up the product something fierce.
I'm providing a service, Ross.
And taking advantage of people.
They love it.
I don't even want to think about what karma you're getting for this one.
PBBox.PB.
I do like how you've got the website set up. I see a nice photo of you leaning by your kitchen sink, smiling at a spoonful of peanut butter.
That is,
you staring at a computer.
That's the end tag.
Oh, that's
I'm
the
sorry.
end. Okay, well, we'll just stop there.
Yeah,
we'll just stop there then.
sorry.
We'll just cut that off then. That's all right.
Cut that off then.
Yeah, we'll just chop
or
that right off.
We don't have a thing to do at the end. I'm sorry.
That's true. That's true.
My poorly timed page break.
Hey everybody, I'm Ross Johnson, your favorite co-host.
And I'm Heather Zykowski, the babe with the power. Welcome back. It's the Sound of Tomorrow on WAYO LP Rochester.
Do you have a show for me today to listen to and learn about the things that happen in the world?
Do I?
Yeah.
Was that a question for me?
I don't know, Heather. I'm working on new stuff. They say it's good if you interact with the audience if you ask sort of rhetorical questions. So, but I guess asking them if they have a show. Actually, I'm literally asking, does anyone have a show?
Yeah, could anybody do a show? Yeah, because it's freaking January in Rochester and we are exhausted.
If you're available, you can just be on, I was going to say on our show, but you could just literally be the show. I will just literally leave everything here and you can just hop right on and go for it. No swears because we're on the, the radio.
Yeah,
but
no swears.
You can
do
whatever you want.
Yeah. Other than swear.
Other than swearing, you can do whatever you want.
Commit libel.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how libel you want to get, I suppose. But I think that it's fine, and you can you can even get swearsy as long as if you know how to use the swearsy button.
But that one it runs out. You can only use it twice.
Well, that's a hypothetical one, and not like the one at the actual things we're using right now. So, so if you can do that thing, Heather.
Yes.
I don't know. I forgot what I was going to segue into. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. I heard a rumor.
You heard a rumor
about you.
What rumor did you hear about me? Oh my goodness.
I heard a rumor that you went to the cinema.
I did.
The motion pictures, the talkies.
Yes.
I heard you saw a talkie.
I did see a talkie. And
what was that like?
I think, it was nice. I think I mentioned last week that I was going to see it.
You did.
So last week I mentioned that I was going to see Megan. And
you did. You
it was
nice. Just move forward with the story. You don't have to recap last week's thing about
but, if somebody didn't. But if I just start talking about going to a generic movie, they might not know which one I'm talking about.
Well, you could mention Megan. I don't mean to give you live feedback here, but I'm just
You certainly do. You're in a mood today. You're in a January mood.
You can probably say you went to the movies without
You
recapping how
really
last
rocked
week you
that.
talked about maybe going to the movies.
No,
I'm just
last week I definitely said I was going, and I did, and it
I
was one
agree,
of those.
and that's the fourth time now you've recapped last week's discussion of going to the movies.
I'm a woman, I'm used to repeating myself.
Okay, no one's
Yeah,
stopping you from moving forward though.
well, I'm trying. It was in one of those fancy theaters where you can lay down if you want to.
Okay, so a normal theater, sure.
Are they all like that these days? I feel like I've
Pretty
been
much.
to other ones with just kind of normal theater seats.
Pretty much. I mean, like the Little has normal seats.
Yeah, the little and there's one of those theaters like the Regal out in Greece or something still has the old like they've got a cup holder. That's the
Huh?
feature.
Huh?
It's fine though. But I like those theaters where you can lay down if you want to, though. I feel like it's unseemly to lay down in public. Um
I
but
do a
yeah,
little bit, but I still do it. Yeah.
I reclined somewhat.
Okay.
I didn't fully lay down. What if I went to sleep? But yeah, I went to see Megan and I it was good. It was fine.
I'm hearing good, not great.
Yeah. And I'll tell you quite honestly, I was surprised. I went
Okay.
in with really, really high expectations.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that is I listen to a lot of podcasts with like comedians that I really like, and they could not say enough good stuff about it.
Yeah.
And they're all like clambering to go, and then they're like, oh, I want to go see it again. And like on their podcast they were making plans like, oh well, if you want to go, we're going to go Wednesday night, you should come with us. And like the level of excitement they had about it, I was like, wow, wow, wow. If these funny people are this engaged with this movie, I'm going to love it. And so my expectations weren't met.
Oh.
Yeah. And there were a couple of things that really took me out of the movie because maybe they went over my head, but I don't think so. And so I don't want to give any spoilers or anything, but my overall, it was fun. It was good. I'm not upset that I saw it or anything. It was
Was it
fine.
the dancing?
The dancing was actually great.
Okay.
Like the dancing that lives up to everything the internet, because I even looked it up today and I was like, why was everybody like going wild for Megan? And they
Yeah, it was
mentioned
mostly the
the
dancing.
dance going viral. The dance was great.
Okay.
Like that was really fantastic. Um so I think this is unimportant. There's obviously a child in this, and the child goes to a kind of day camp,
Mhm.
and the person leading the day camp is like, who here likes roasted chestnuts? Let's go collect chestnuts. And that, even at first, I was like, what? I mean, it's summertime, and like, do kids like, is this a hot new thing amongst children eating roasted chestnuts? So that right away, I was like, huh? Am I missing something? And then the chestnuts that they were collecting were horse chestnuts.
I don't know what any of that means.
So there's the edible chestnuts, and then there's horse chestnuts that are poisonous.
Okay.
And so the whole chestnut thing really like, but maybe that was a joke that went over my head. If it was, I really don't get it.
Okay.
And so, okay, you've seen a lot of horror movies. I was like, maybe they talk about chestnuts in a lot of horror movies, and this is some trope
Um.
I'm missing because I don't see horror movies.
Um. Uh, yeah. I don't know. No, I
Not
don't
that you
think
know of.
out of context. I don't know. I'd have to. Yeah. I'd have to.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that was like the biggest thing that for the rest of the movie, I was like, what was up with the freaking chestnuts? I
Like,
don't,
would anyone know that? Would anyone but you know that they were the wrong kind of chestnuts?
yes. Because
Okay.
chestnut trees, at least in this region, are really popular.
Okay.
And
Because I have zero idea what you're talking about.
oh, you don't? Okay.
I don't.
No, they're horse
I don't even know what a
chestnuts.
chestnut. I don't even know what a normal chestnut looks like.
See, I've never seen a wild edible one.
Huh.
I don't know where those grow. I've seen them like out of their cases and in stores suitable for roasting to feed to apparently any children I encounter. Um, but I would think, much like myself, anybody who grew up with a chestnut tree in the yard, which again, super common, would have been lectured since they were a small child about how those chestnuts are poisonous and don't you
Yeah.
dare try to eat them.
Huh.
So I think it's probably not uncommon that a lot of people would know that.
Okay.
It's not a fancy exotic tree.
All right.
Yeah. So, and it was, like I said, I'm not upset that I saw it. The, my expectations were set too high.
Okay. Well, that seems fair. So you're do you think you would see Megan 2,
Megan Boogaloo?
which is on the way?
It is not.
It is too.
Why?
Because it's a very popular movie that even you went to see, and it's like the second movie you've seen in 20 years. So
It is
what?
not. I've been to movies lately. You and I even saw a movie together last year.
Yeah, that's true. You did go to a movie last year. I apologize. I apologize for suggesting
I went to
anything
at
other.
least
But
4 movies last year.
okay, but so you don't think you'd go to see Megan continues.
Okay, so if somebody said to me, "Oh my gosh, I loved Megan and I want to see Megan too. Do you want to go?" I think I liked it well enough that if I were feeling like leaving my home, I'd say, "Sure, and I'd go in with my expectations adjusted. Like,
Okay.
this movie will be fine.
Okay.
But yeah, one thing that
Interesting.
they really liked in the podcast that I listened to is when Megan sang.
Hmm.
So I was waiting for that to be like a moment that really like got me. And then the moment came and I was like, oh, was fine. I didn't find it hilarious. It was fine.
All right. All right.
Yeah, so
So
sadly enough,
that'd be a lukewarm pick from you.
I know I was really hoping that I would be totally psyched about it. But that's
Yeah.
all right. That's okay.
You know what's great?
What is great?
There's a new show with Natasha Lyonne, who I love. Love Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah,
Russian
she's
Doll was one of
great.
my favorite shows,
I remember it.
and she's got a new show with that she does with Ryan Johnson, the director, who does the Knives Out movies, for example, and really has not made a
Oh,
bad movie in my estimation. So she's got a new show that's sort of a detective show called Poker Face, and it is great. I mean, I've only seen the first episode, so the first episode is great. And so the premise, you can't really speak too much to the premise without sort of giving away the first episode a little bit. But essentially, Natasha Lyonne she's a cocktail waitress at a casino in sort of nowhere. I don't know where it's supposed to be. It's like a made up place, but it's sort of westerny, like Reno kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
And she has sort of she had run afoul of the casino owner in the past by being really good at poker because she has sort of she has a pretty much unerring ability to tell when people are lying. So,
Oh,
um, but to sort of keep an eye on her, he had given her a job as a cocktail waitress, and she was perfectly happy with that. But then the new owner wants her to help him out with the thing, and she gets involved in a murder mystery, and it's a whole thing. But it's really smartly done. And Ryan Johnson, I don't know, he wrote and directed the first episode. I don't know if that's true of every episode, but it had that, it had that Knives Out sort of style.
I don't know the
And
Knives Out style.
well, I'm sure someone who's listening has, because they might have seen those movies that are available to you for free. Um, and you could watch if you wanted to.
Would I like them?
I think so, but I don't know what you like. I mean, you don't like Megan,
I didn't like
and
Megan.
she's sad about that. So I don't know. I don't know what you like. Who can say with you? You're an enigma,
I am. It's
frankly.
true.
Yeah, I think you'd like them. I like them.
Huh. Yeah, that does
I
sound
haven't.
good. I do still, and this is shameful, I have Russian Doll in my queue.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to it eventually.
Russian Doll's great.
Yeah, I have no doubt. I mean, I completely believe you on it. I've only heard great things. I'm sure I would like it. You know me,
So
I
if
just start
you
watching stuff.
so if you took a pause before watching season 26 of Vampire Diaries again, could you squeeze Russian Doll in there somewhere
No, I've
or
moved
no?
on to Haunting of Hill House.
Okay. Which is
And then
3 episodes? So you have time. I think you're
it's
going to get
pretty
there.
short. I think it's like an 8 episode run.
Okay.
But then I have to move on to Haunting of Bly Manor.
Okay. But you could in theory because they're not really related. So you could if you wanted
I
to
could
squeeze
take a
something in the
break.
middle.
I could.
You could take a break if you need. So that might be a suggestion if you need a break.
I think I am done. I think the Vampire Diaries universe may have closed up its doors.
Yeah, did you watch all the have you seen all the what's the
I
originals and
saw
the something
almost all
else?
the spin offs except the originals.
Okay.
I started the originals and I think I just, I was like, yeah, that's enough for now.
Huh.
And then
All right.
there's Legacies. I really like Legacies.
Oh, Legacies. Okay.
And that was the last one, and that's done.
Yeah. All right. So you'd have to finish original someday though, right?
I
Or
don't
or no, or
know.
you're over
I
it.
think I might be done. I think I might be over it.
And the novels?
No, I never read the
Did you
novels.
Okay. I assume there are novels. I don't know that
I
for
would
a
assume
fact.
so.
Um well that's I'm a little sad to hear that you're done with Vampire
I
Diaries. That was your
know.
life for so long.
It was. It really was. Are you watching season 15 of Drag Race?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts so far?
You know what? It's still even like 4 or 5 episodes in. I'm still
Yeah,
at that point where like I don't know who anybody is. um,
there
or
are
I
a
know
few. Like,
3 people, and then someone will pop up on the screen, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that person."
right.
Um, so I love Lux Noir
Yes.
London. Is that the
Yes.
um and I have a few there are a few other people that I'm kind of that are growing on me that I like. I like Sasha Colby
Yeah, Sasha
a lot.
Colby's good.
I
Yeah.
think those are my top two. I think the top two of this last episode are also my top two in general.
That makes
But there are a
sense.
few other people that I like. But I'm still at that point where I'm like, I wish. And with the shorter episodes now, which
Yes.
I sort of don't like. I mean, I was annoyed before when like nobody ever went home. They did that thing where like they weren't sending anybody home for the longest time, or
That's
they like
right.
people would keep coming back. That was annoying because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to learn who people are, and it's too many people, so you need to get rid. I'm sorry. Good luck. I wish you the best. But you're too many people right now, so I need some of you to go home. And then like that would never happen. So it's just so they would just be a whirlwind. So, but I don't mind the longer episodes. So now I feel like I'm having even a harder time learning who people
Mhm.
are. So, I don't know. So it's fine. I feel like it's not my favorite season so far, but I don't know why. And I think it might just be I got used to the longer episodes, and now when they're shorter, they feel truncated to me.
Yeah, for me, the short episodes are, and I've heard this from a lot of people. There's apparently quite a bit of feedback. The short episodes aren't doing it because I do feel
Mm,
like we're rushing everything. And the reading challenge, it was hardly funny because nobody had any screen time to pick up any momentum whatsoever
yeah.
because it was just such rapid clips. And I didn't
Well,
like the
and
way they did Snatch Game.
no,
And Snatch
no,
Game was so early. I have to tell you, half the people I was like, okay, I don't know who this character is, and I don't know which queen is being them.
I know. I need you to I need you to hold up a
Yeah, like a placard of who you actually are.
right, like show me both of you at all times.
Hmm.
So yeah, the pacing does not feel good. I'm not loving the pacing, but um like I said, I guess my number one pick right now is Lux Noir London, and
Yeah,
maybe
she's
Sasha
really
Colby
good.
is number 2, and I sort of like Selena Estides,
Yeah, she's
which I
funny.
think I can say.
I was so surprised she did such a bad job in Snatch Game.
Yeah.
I was talking about this
Yeah.
with another friend, and I was like, I was pitching better ideas than she did for Virgin Mary. And I was saying, like,
Yeah.
if I'm pitching better ideas, you know she could have done better.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a no-brainer because I was like, what a
Yeah,
perfect, because you could do anything you want. Like you
that's
could do
the
anything you
thing.
want and you could just pick a personality that's funny.
Yeah.
And it would be funny because you're dressed like the Virgin Mary. You could do Joan Rivers, but you're dressed like the Virgin Mary and it's funny, so you could
Yep.
do whatever you want. And the fact that like sort of nothing came of it was weird.
Yeah, it was really strange. That's what they're always bringing up on Drag Her. How for Snatch Game doing like a character that nobody really knows anything about, like Mother Nature or Mother
Hmm.
Goose or the Virgin Mary, something like that, that nobody really knows what they would have sounded like necessarily. Joan of Arc, like some kind of historical figure,
Yeah.
is great because, like you said, you decide what your humor is going to be, and then you
Right.
just put it through this historical figure. I was ready for it to be a riot. Yee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know about that. Also, I thought that Serena was going to be. It made me almost question a little bit
Yeah.
because before Snatch Game, that was one where I was like, "Oh man, she's gonna be so funny. I'm gonna crack right up." I was like, "Nope, I'm not. I did not crack
Yeah.
up."
But it's a weird, I mean, you have off days. There's also like, you're playing off other people's energy too, so that can
Yeah.
throw things. So it doesn't like, you can definitely tell some people are not cut out for it.
Hmm.
But sometimes I'm like, maybe that's just maybe it was just an off, if someone else is throwing your energy or you're not getting a lot of stuff thrown to you,
Yeah.
I mean,
And who the heck
like Rue
knows
could,
with the
Rue could throw
edit?
you some, right. I mean, Rue could throw you something great, or Rue could throw you something that gives you nowhere to go, without necessarily, and that could be the difference between like life or death. Like, if RuPaul pitches you something good that you have a comeback for, then that's your moment right there. And that's all you need is a couple of moments. All you
Hmm.
need is like two really good moments and you can practically win Snatch Game.
Well, especially
But
when the shows are 40 minutes long.
right. So,
Yeah. I don't
but
know. I'm not
yeah,
upset that it's on, of course. I always enjoy it, but it is like, oh my gosh, I don't know who anybody is. And there's too little of them.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, like you
Do
said,
you think they're going
I'll
to
keep
bring
watching.
back Sugar? I can't believe
Oh,
they
I
ended
don't,
the twin drama so early.
I know. I thought that was going to stretch out a lot longer.
Yeah, I really thought they were
Um,
going to hold on to both twins just because they're twins.
yeah,
And they're
yeah. I thought
cute.
they're fine. They're fine. I mean, I guess I'm glad. It's. I think like they need to compete separately, and I guess getting rid of one is one way to make sure that happens.
Yeah,
But
I really thought production was going to take that a lot farther.
mhm,
And maybe with the competing separately, maybe that would even happen in a future series.
yeah,
Because I could see them wanting to get an arc out of this.
yeah. But I guess, and I mean, they're sort of fine. Also, I mean,
Yeah.
they're good personalities. I mean, they're distinctive, which is, I guess, is I recognize them, although I can't tell them apart. So I don't know.
One has dark hair, one has light.
I have no idea what
That's how
you're
you
talking
tell them
about.
apart. Spice has dark hair. Sugar has lighter hair.
Okay, well, I only have to worry about one of them now, so
Spice.
I'm not going back at this point to learn
I know
about
it's funny.
drag queens that are already gone.
There are a lot of people on the internet who were very upset that they were on and like how dare they have the TikTok queens and stuff. And I was like, I mean, they're drag queens. I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't bother
Let's
me.
see how they do.
And I feel like that's, you know, uh, that's, you know, re- refusing to have people refusing to accept people as drag queens because they're not doing it the way that it used to be done
Uh-huh. I mean,
is
especially when we've had a pandemic and there's no way these children could be out in the clubs.
right. Right. And if drag moves more into that kind of stuff, then I don't know, it's neither good nor bad as far as I'm concerned. It just kind of is.
I mean, but
It
and the
just kind
other
of is,
thing
and
is
it's fine.
I don't think it's ever going to just move completely online and aren't going to be shows anymore.
Yeah.
So why not get it online as well, I think.
Well, it will. It will in Arkansas, but
Oh
where
no.
it's now where it's now illegal. But
Oh no,
other
are
than
you
that,
serious?
yes, I'm
They
very
closed
serious.
all the drag clubs?
Um, they did not close all the drag clubs. Drag is now classified as adult entertainment, so it can only be performed in adult venues. So they have to be. So the club still exists, but that's basically the only place that people can perform. Um, and that also, of course, the well, and I should go back to this has been passed by the Arkansas Senate. It's not been passed. It's not been fully passed yet. So there's
Oh
still
my
some
gosh.
wiggle room there. But yeah, drag can't be performed in any venue that's not an adult venue. And that includes, by the way, any sort of trans person performing anything. So,
Well, that's
um,
that's what I was thinking. Okay.
yeah. So, yes. So in Arkansas, if this passes, which there's unfortunately every reason to believe that it will, um, yeah, drag outside of clubs, including at Pride, will be is against the law, and a trans person, if a trans woman presents as a woman and performs at her cello recital, that is also against the law. So, or is a stand-up comic and does not dress like a boy, does not dress to present like a boy, that is also against the law. So,
Wow. That's horrible.
that's, that's just one state of many, though. So, don't get too upset about Arkansas because um, hundreds of such bills are in the works across various states.
I did not know that about the drag stuff.
Yeah, it's horrible, and it's the first. You know, it's the first of many that are coming, and I will remind everyone that that is why that is why being active and engaged is important, and that voting is important, and that being active in any way to support trans people and drag queens. I mean, you know, there's the level of trying to outlaw transness and get rid of trans people entirely.
Yes.
They don't
I mean, that
find a
I've
way to pretend
definitely
that.
been very aware of.
It's also this is also people's livelihoods. You know, drag brunches, you know, all sorts of venues for drag performers are soon to be against the law in at least one state, but other states are definitely, I don't want to say definitely following suit because that's a little fatalistic, I guess, but definitely planning to follow suit, definitely looking to follow suit, definitely want to do the same kind of thing. So, um, it's important not to look away too much because you know, so again, it's it's anti-trans. It's also, you know, it's anti queer in general, and it's it's the type of laws that, you know, and maybe it's time to pick up the bricks because it's these are these type of clothing laws that were used
Yeah.
that were around in the 60s about what, you know, about what you were allowed to wear and what you were not
Right.
allowed to wear, depending on what your perceived gender was. They are, you know, they were the main trigger behind Stonewall. So, but now here we are again, back with the
Right.
same sort of things. I mean, at least, you know, at least we don't have them in New York just yet. But you know, we had a governor's race where, you know, the the opposing candidate may well have been in, you know, I think could well have been amenable to such things, and that was not such a barn burner, you know, such a runaway election. So, you know, this is very mainstream.
It I hate I hate to say it, but it actually astounds me that there's a real possibility that these gendered clothing laws might be coming back into effect.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I mean, I mean, I hate to say it, I would say it's more than a possibility. it's a it's almost guaranteed to happen in some places. Again, I don't want to be fatalistic and say there's no hope and there's no, I don't want to make that sound like there's nothing people can do, but I think what people can do will be to reverse some of these, fight to reverse some of these things. Um, I don't think there's much chance of stopping some of this in the short term, which is
Wow.
not to say we shouldn't try,
Yeah.
but,
Wow,
again,
that's so
this stuff
interesting
is
'cause
overwhelmingly popular. This stuff is, I mean, it's overwhelmingly popular with people who are politically active. So it's popular with a minority of people in America, a minority of voters, but these are people who are politically active, and um, the people who are the majority of Americans who are against these sort of things, don't necessarily care enough to be active. The people who want to see trans people gone, they want to see drag queens gone, they want to see queer people gone, they care. They are out
mm,
there. They are active. They are fighting. They are spending their money.
well, and they're fueled by hatred.
And they're fueled by hatred. I mean, but they're also fueled by money.
Mhm.
And,
Oh, but
so
hatred really gets people riled up
yeah, I mean, it's,
in a way
it's,
that, "Oh, I love drag queens," might not get somebody, like, all fiery and passionate and preaching about things.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me because just recently I was having a discussion about, kids these days and how they dress with one of the Trump voters in my life. And the Trump voter was, of course, bemoaning the lack of standards in the way kids dress these days. And boy, they'll just wear anything. And I was just throwing out that I kind of felt like some of that was because these kids were the children of my generation and younger. And we had a lot of restrictions on us about what we wore. We had a lot of, in my case, a lot of screaming daily about what I wanted to wear, things like that. And I was saying, like, well, I feel like maybe my generation as parents, some of us think that there's more important stuff. And if the little boy wants to wear a tutu, let him wear a tutu. Is he a nice kid? Like, is he a good kid? Is he a happy kid? Like, that's more important than whether he wants to wear a tutu. Who the heck cares?
Well, and this
But
is
it turns
also,
out a lot of people.
it's also interesting when old people, and by old people, I mean like anybody who's, I mean like younger than me and above, people who've lived long enough to see things constantly come around again. I mean,
Mhm.
the idea that people were ever satisfied, have ever been satisfied with what kids were wearing. The idea that there's ever been a point at which old people weren't going, oh, these kids today,
Yeah,
and
that's
the people
true.
that are the people that are complaining about what kids today are wearing, I guarantee you, when they were kids, people are like, oh, I can't believe what those kids are wearing. You know what I mean? So that's a big part of it too, is like you say, is it is what kids are wearing the biggest problem you could think of in the world? Apparently that is.
Yeah, I don't.
um but also, we're gonna pretend that no one's, this is a novel complaint, this is a
Yeah,
novel
that's
thing that's
true.
just come up, that I mean, kids are like, and me, I love my ancient history, and I will tell you, and I can't quote anything off the top of my head, um mostly because my ancient Greek pronunciation is not what it could be, but like literally you can pull up literature, and I'm not exaggerating when I say you can pull up literature from 2,500 years ago,
Yeah.
from
Oh,
3,000
the
years
kids
ago,
these
where people are
days.
complaining about the kids these days. So that's all stupid. And I mean, again, that the people who are saying this at some point in their young life were running around with people going, "Can you believe what they're wearing? Oh, they don't even care anymore, these kids."
That's absolutely right. And, radio was going to rot their brains. And then
Yeah.
TV was going to rot their brains. Then the video games were going to rot their brains.
Oh my God, we can pull out stuff about books. I mean,
Everything. There
there's stuff about
is all this reading. It's going to
yeah.
ruin people.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe it did. I mean, it's, you see where we've gotten to. So maybe maybe books were like
I mean,
the beginning of the end. I don't know.
yeah, maybe our brains are rotted.
I think they definitely are, but I mean I don't think they're more or less rotted than they ever were.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, the idea that well, and I guess that's a broad, that you can expand that out to the stuff that there's fueled by hatred. There are also convenient distractions, you know what I mean? Because you you, you look at I'll use J.K. Rowling again as an example, because I think she's happy to be an example of, the anti-trans movement. I don't think I'm even being mean to her by doing that. I think I'm giving her the place that she wants in life and society. I think she wants that role very much. So, here we go. This is me being as supportive as I'm ever going to be in my life again of J.K. Rowling, is giving her the job she wants, which is being the face of anti-trans.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, you know, you think of, so let's say I'm hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, transness is a problem.
According
I'm
to
just gonna,
J.K. Rowling.
I'm just doing I don't like playing devil's advocate, but I'm just gonna let's pretend for a moment that there's some problem with transness, right?
Okay.
Like just pretending, just
Sure.
completely made up pretending. Um, is it a bigger problem than misogyny? Is it a bigger problem than sexual assault? Is it a bigger problem than opiate addiction? Is it a bigger problem than climate change? Is it a bigger problem than war? Is it a bigger problem than unhoused people? Is it a
Yeah.
bigger problem? Not that unhoused people are the problem, but you know what I mean. Is it a
Lack of
bigger
adequate
problem than
housing.
lack of adequate housing? Is it a bigger problem that like one of the wealthiest, most successful people on the planet is going to donate her life to the cause of, what if hypothetically a woman who I don't think is a woman tries to use the bathroom?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's the wildness, and that's the level of distraction that I don't get. Like when you're going to sit around complaining about what kids are wearing, when I feel like we have bigger freaking problems, much bigger freaking, even if the clothing is a problem, right? Like, and I can't see where it is. I can't see where I can be bothered to care.
Yeah, no,
Maybe in a world where everything else was perfect, like maybe I'd be
not
like, oh,
even.
I wish that kid had better pants on or whatever. You know what I mean? Like maybe, but that's a long,
It's
I
going to
mean,
take a while.
yeah. So I mean, and the fact that this is what and it's a distraction, right? Like if you're Arkansas, um, we're not going to work on the real problems because those
Mhm.
are hard and they cost money, and we have to
Yes.
and they're controversial and there's fights about it. We can take something stupid like drag brunches, whip up a frenzy about how this is the biggest problem we have. And so, I mean, I understand how it works in the sense of like, this is how it's always worked.
Mhm.
I don't understand how it works because I can't. Well, I mean, I guess I can. Like we've talked about, like social media and stuff, where like I
Right.
can see a post and get myself riled up about something stupid, and usually I go, "Oh, okay." Like before I'm going to vote for somebody or spend money or go to a rally, I'm going to take a little more time on that,
Mhm.
which I guess is maybe the difference. But and it's a big difference. But I also understand how that part of our brain works, and politicians certainly understand how that part of our brain works, where you can get people riled
Yes.
up about something stupid, and then, it's the, give me the drag race gif of look over here, look over there.
That's the thing. Look over at the gas stove. Look at the drag
Yeah,
brunch.
yeah.
Don't actually
So,
look at the unhoused people in your city who need help.
and the worst part is, it's not, you know, I mean, I guess a less worse scenario would be look over there at something stupid, but something we could actually do something about. Look at the manhole covers that are not up to code. You know what I mean? Like something
Mm,
silly that doesn't really matter, but maybe, oh, okay, maybe something positive could come of it and not something negative, as opposed to look over at those people that we want to end,
yeah.
that we want to destroy. We want to destroy their lives. We want to pretend they don't exist. We want to maybe do what we can to see that they don't exist. I mean, some of this stuff goes pretty darn far. And some of the anti-trans rhetoric goes pretty darn far. And it's
Yeah.
spread to, I say anti-trans just because that's sort of the spearhead, but it
But
also spreads to that has spread to much larger swaths of the queer community.
oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Before we even get into, racism and anti-Semitism, and that's just one, like, even that's just one piece of it, but that's sort of the most, it's the most socially acceptable right now because you can be actively racist, but you know better than to say. I think most actively racist people know better than to say, like, actively racist things. They just, like, do actively racist thing and sort of
Yeah.
couch it. Whereas the
Right. So
anti-queer
they've
stuff
got,
now has become, it's not subtle, but it's like, it's not subtle, but it's at least in polite company. You're not allowed to say, like, I don't like black people, so you'd find a different way to say it. Whereas, like, it's become a thing you can do in polite company to be like, I don't like trans people. I don't think they, I, I would say, I don't think people are even saying they shouldn't exist. I think people are saying it's not real.
yes. Yeah,
Um,
people are most definitely saying that people aren't trans, and that is honestly the rhetoric that I cannot understand and I can't get, like, I cannot get the facts on. I can't get any logic. I can't get anything I can grab onto because I've talked with a few people who are very much anti-trans
yeah,
and they do not believe especially in trans women. And
yeah,
so then I will say specifically, like, trans friends of mine's names. I'll say, well, what about my friend? I don't think she'd do that. And they go, no, 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 I don't mean your friend. And I'm like, well, what about my other friend? That doesn't sound like her. She's just living her life. And they go, no, 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 not that other friend. Okay, well, if not my trans women friends, which trans women? Who are the women who are doing all of the crimes?
yeah,
Who are these trans women who are infiltrating women's spaces for nefarious purposes?
yeah,
Like, if they're not the ones I've met, where are they?
yeah,
And that's what just you can tell I'm getting a little agitated, but it just, when I'm listing off names of people I know
yeah,
and saying that they don't, it doesn't, I don't think they'd ever do those things. And I'm getting agreement from people who are still saying that my friends aren't women and saying that my friends are part of this category of human beings who are, actively evil through their transness.
yeah.
But, like, where? Where are they?
Well, and
And
J.K.
again,
Rowling today.
like we have talked about, I'm sure as anything, there are some trans women who've done some real bad stuff. You know what? Because
Oh,
they're
sure.
human beings. And not every human being is a real terrific human being who does great things all the time.
Well, and
Being
this is
trans doesn't turn you into a saint.
and I
You're
mean, the
still a
goal, yeah,
human.
the goal of equality, and this is like when you see racist thing, and of course, all these categories overlap, but when you see people like, see, a black person did a bad thing, see, and you're like, my the point was never that black people are angelic. The point was that black
Right.
people are kind of the same as everybody else. Us,
Yes.
meaning you and me, white people, not meaning you and me as white people, not not us versus black people. You know what I mean.
Yeah. But then, I mean, yes,
Just want to be clear what I'm saying there.
because black
But
people are people. They're human beings, and human beings are sometimes deeply flawed.
yeah, absolutely. So the point is that as there are good white people and bad white people, and every point in between those things of white people, they're also black there, and there are, yeah, same thing with trans people. We're all just people. And some are
Yeah.
good, some are bad, and some are going to do good things. I mean, we don't, when a Christian does something bad or when a white person does something bad, which happens literally every day,
Yeah, all the time. More than
murder,
once every day.
sexual assault, you name it, the worst crimes imaginable, we don't throw out the whole idea of white people. We don't
Right.
go, "Welp, let's dismiss white people."
Right.
you know. So
Well, and
it's
we may have also said this last week. If we're getting rid of anybody, how about cis men?
yeah, yeah, we're the worst.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the
um
second worst. So,
yeah,
but
yeah,
still,
J.K. Rowling had posted something today, and I don't want to quote it, but I happened to see it. Um where she said, where she described trans people as trans women as men trying to tell women, what it means to be a woman, and men trying to mansplaining to women what, womanhood is all about, and blah blah blah. And it's like, it's that kind of thing.
and again,
Insidiously phrased, in the sense of, because it pulls in that, it tugs at that feminist thing of like,
oh, it
oh,
does because
these
let
men
me
are trying to
tell
tell
you,
women,
let me tell you who has mansplained femininity to me. Men. Let me tell you who has not tried to explain femininity to me. None of my trans women friends.
yeah.
Again, where are these trans women who are trying to tell me how I'm supposed to be a woman?
Well, and if they are, so what? I mean,
I mean, I really
again,
wouldn't like any woman, trans or cis, demanding of me that I'm supposed to be a woman in some way.
no, but if you've got it's one thing for a trans woman to talk about womanhood. Um, it's another thing to say, oh, that's not a woman, so she's not allowed to talk about womanhood at all because that's actually a man. I mean, which is what, which is sort of the J.K. Rowling faction of anti-transness, is that these are men. And that's how you pull in that's where the turfism comes from. That's where the that's where the sort of quote unquote feminist angle comes from, is these are men, and they want to get into the bathroom with us, and they want to tell us what it means to be a woman, and they want to tell us all about, and they want to mansplain to us. And again, that's not based, that's ignoring science, that's ignoring history, that's ignoring culture, that's ignoring people's lived experience, which is the number one thing, which is all I really need. I mean, I
Yeah.
really don't need all that other stuff to take someone at their
Well,
word when they tell me this is their life, especially when it's not just one person, it is a lot of people throughout history who've had the
yeah,
exact, very similar experiences.
but that is another thing I want to know. Who? Where are these trans women who are doing this? Where are
Well,
some quotes from them?
I think trans women are. I mean, I think trans women are entitled to speak about femininity and womanhood.
So
I don't
I
have any problem with
interpreted
that.
J.K. Rowling as saying trans women are trying to dictate how J.K. Rowling and I, as cis women, live our lives, how we
Yes,
express
because they
our
are telling
femininity.
yes, because they're telling you that they're women, and that
Oh,
is,
merely by existing, she thinks that that's what they're saying.
by existing. They might try to use your bathroom. They might try to, they might try to, by existing and by speaking their story that she doesn't believe is real, they are creating a version of womanhood that she doesn't believe in, she doesn't agree with, and by doing that, she's sort of threatening they're threatening the whole idea of womanhood.
I mean, that doesn't sound right. I mean, how does that affect her? By
Well, exactly.
by a trans woman wanting to use the bathroom?
Exactly. It's a I think this is a thing we see in all sorts of, again, this is why, you know, we talk about equality, because and the thing that stinks about equality is, like, we're all equally bad in a lot of ways, because you see this with marginalized groups a lot of times, where advances are made and then it becomes, oh, who can we keep out now? And I think this is a dark side of the feminist movement. And we've seen this before with the whatever, however you want to define the feminist movement. Oh, but not black women, or not. And there are, I'm not saying the feminist movement or feminism in general, but there have always been factions of that, and any movement where it's like, oh, but we don't mean black women. Oh, we don't mean lesbians. Oh, we don't mean, and now it's, we don't mean trans women. they're not included. It's always like as soon as you make as soon as any group makes an advance, people start thinking about who they're going to kick out or who's going to get kept out, And we've seen that with the gay and queer movement too. I mean, it's like, oh, are trans people included in this? I don't know. It's the same things. We've seen the white gay men who are like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, now we're doing okay.
Yeah. Now everything's perfect.
So who are we going to kick? Who are we going to keep out? We're not like those kind of gays, we're the ones that are cool and good, and everybody, so I don't know, it's terrible, but anyway.
Yeah, it really is terrible.
So we're not going to talk about mirrors at the gym today, FYI. If
I
anybody was looking
know.
forward to that, I'm sure we'll get
I
to
don't
it next week.
I don't know if we'll get to it next week.
I don't know either, but anyway, I think that's our show.
I know. Wow. From RuPaul's Drag Race into much sadder territory.
Well, I think it's stuff we need to keep our eyes on.
Yes, absolutely.
But hey, you know what, Heather?
What, Ross?
That's the end of the show. Love you, everybody. I do like how you've got the website set up. I see a nice photo of you leaning by your kitchen sink, smiling at a spoonful of peanut butter. Oh, you staring at a computer and holding a spoonful of peanut butter. I didn't know you wore readers, actually.
Oh, I don't. My marketing team said it would look better if I did for the computer shot, though.
Your marketing team being strangers at the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's you standing on a landing, looking out the window pensively with, what's that, the peanut butter jar and a plastic spatula?
Oh, yeah. The PBBox Plus has the spatula. For when the jar is almost empty, so you can just eat right out of it off of a spatula.
Okay, dare I even ask?
PBBox Plus is only $44.99 a month plus tax and shipping, and it's a nice spatula, too.
All right, Heather. You know what? I'm wishing you good luck on this one.
Got to make your money somehow.
Wishing you luck on this one.